Joanne Hayes.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker, and I rise to take a call on the Environmental Protection Authority Protection of the Environment Amendment Bill, second reading. Mr Speaker, last time I stood in this House on the first reading, I did reiterate that it seemed to be a wasted exercise to do this. And after listening to some of the contributions tonight, and especially the one from the Green member just previous, I take offence to some of the things around the farming community and the waterways and protection of our waterways and fresh water. I come from a farming background, and I can tell you now that we have, with our most stringent protection of our waterways, that more so than whatever happened when the previous government was in power. I am proud to stand here to say that I am a blue-green. I am a blue-green. We are here to give good advice to the Minister through the rest of our caucus members that sit outside of Parliament, Mr Speaker. And through the Blue-Greens, we have worked with the Minister on a number of policies, especially around the EPA. And it was this government in 2011 that set up the authority. We must remember that. We must remember that when we came into power, there was no environmental protection anywhere in this country, and it was this government that actually put it in and started to shape it up to protect the waterways, to protect, and it was all about protection. That's what the second word in environment is. It's protection. It's about protection and maintenance. That's what it does. It's in its vision, it's in its policies, it's in its goals. Why try and add it again and again when we all know that it's already there? The advisors to our select committee actually said it over and over again. They said it would be a wasted exercise. What it would do, it would take away the core function of what the EPA was set up to do in the first place. It is working at arm's length to this government. Yes, it is working at arm's length. Let's have a look at some of the Commissioner's reports to our committee. They have been challenging to our committee because that's what her job is. Her job is to write reports that challenge our committee, and that's what she is doing. You can't say that she has been influenced by the Minister to write X, Y and Z, because she hasn't. She's an independent person and writes independent reports. And some of the things she writes, we might not like it. We might not like it. It's just come through an environmental rainfall. But we might not like what the Commissioner says, but hey, we respect what she says, and it is all about protecting the environment, Mr Speaker. When I hear things like this National Party digs it and drills it, hey, when we came into government on drilling it, there was no consent process in for drilling. I can tell you that now. It was this government that stuck consent processes, licensing for companies to go and drill in our waters. Let's have a look at our marine reserves. Hey, marine reserves, was there marine reserves when the previous government was in there? No, there wasn't. This government actually set up marine reserves. That's protecting our marine environment. I remember going to the conference in Kaikoura where we launched the Kaikoura Marine Reserve. That's right. I mean, that is a plus. That is history for this country. You've got to admit that. Was the Labour Greens, did the Labour Greens government set up marine reserves? No, they didn't. Did they have marine reserves? Did they? Sorry. Did they set up anything like that to protect us? Did the opposition parties go out and drill merrily away and not even tell New Zealand public of the 30-odd wells that were drilled out in the sea without telling anybody? At least this government's put it on the table. We've put it on the table, and we're very proud that we've done that, Mr Speaker. I just want to, reinstate, this is not a lacklustre government when it comes to green things. Many times I've heard, unless you're a green, you can't be greener than green.
I'm a bit reluctant to interrupt the member, but I would like her now. We've had a good exposition across quite a range of subjects, but it would be good to talk about the bill.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. So anyway, the proposed objective, Mr Speaker, it is is to change the authority's mandate. So that will potentially blur. It potentially blurs the lines between the operational work and the work of other policy agencies, such as the Ministry for the Environment, Mr. Speaker. That's what it does. Okay, so, and it also creates a lot of confusion out there with other acts. These other acts, Mr. Speaker, that I'm talking about are the Imports and Exports Restriction Act 1988, the Resource Management Act 1991, Hazard Substances and New Organisms Act 1996, the Ozone Layer Protection Act 1996, the Climate Change Response Act 2002, and the Exclusive Economic Zone and Continental Shelf Environmental Effects Act 2012. 2012, I guess that's when National did that one as well. So, Mr. Speaker, this is what these 7 simple little words that I understand Megan Woods said in her previous contribution, 7 simple little words which would really throw the cat amongst the lions, Mr. Speaker. The proposed objective also adds extra financial constraints on consent applicants. Is that what we want? We want to add more money to consent processes. Well, I can tell you now, we don't want to add any more money for consent processes, Mr. Speaker. And a much greener space than what you grew up in, I can tell you right now.
Now, order. Now, the member will sit down, and the member will not address me in that way, especially when she's suggesting cat sacrifice. Thank you.
So did I.
Well.
In closing, Mr. Speaker, I want to reiterate that the amendment, it will change the purpose of the EPA well beyond what it was set up to do, and makes it difficult for the decisions as an operational agency, Mr. Speaker. And it would require, the EPA could be required, and should this amendment go through, a whole new set of tests for it. It increases a whole new set of tests, a whole new set of duties, and increased financial constraints on the authority itself. The EPA doesn't have the resources to be able to implement the changes, and they don't, should they come into force. And because they do a really great job with what they have at the moment. The objective is, as I said before, it does blur the lines, and it does blur the lines, it does. Amending the Principal Act is going to achieve nothing other than confusion. It's going to create a whole lot of uncertainty. And, Mr. Speaker, I do not support the bill moving forward into the 3rd reading. Thank you.
Before I call Dennis O'Rourke, and I am going to issue a warning to the House. There is one section of the departmental report that has now been read out 4 times. If anyone else reads that section out again, their speech will be terminated for tedious repetition. Dennis O'Rourke.